Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. Hey, what's happening, guys? Good evening. Welcome to tonight's Accuracy Hour with your host, John Johnson. That's me. I'm glad you're here. We've got a great show for you this evening. Go ahead, if you will, and comment. Let me know who's here. Helps out tremendously. Make sure you can hear me okay. Let's see if we can get somebody to comment. Make sure everything's copacetic on our end. You can hear me okay. Another beautiful day in Florida. Not too cold, not too hot. Got about 80 degrees today, so not so bad. Rob Bomber, thank you. Yeah, we're working on that audio, man. I've got a boom mic now, and we get a shotgun mic, so it's working out pretty well. Comes off a little nicer. We've got some buffers on the wall, so it takes some of the reverb out of the room here. So it works out pretty well this evening. Hope everyone's doing well. Pat Ray, 6797. Pat, are you new? Yeah, we got 38 today, mix of snow and rain. Woohoo! That does not sound fun. Welcome, Pat. Where did you are you on? Looks like you're on YouTube. Have you been watching some of our videos, and that's how you found about it? I'd like to know that if you don't mind. But welcome, Pat. Pat, where you live, buddy, or person? I can't assume Pat means a man, but our subscription feed is about 97% men, so I would assume it's a man, but that does not mean it couldn't be. But welcome, Pat. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, buddy. So the Accuracy Hour, we changed the name from podcast from the range to the Accuracy Hour because each week we're going to give you some kind of fundamental accuracy thing that will help you tremendously become a better shooter. We've been doing a lot of research on our channel, and it seems like every time we do anything that has to do with accuracy. Oh, beautiful. Buffalo, New York. I found you surfing YouTube. Been following you for a few weeks. Great. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate you very much. That's awesome. Thank you. So the Accuracy Hour is more in regards to a lot of different stuff. We may be adjusting our hours on this a little bit. We've been getting a lot of people from California saying we need to do it later. So I think we're going to, starting in December, move this to 8 o'clock, which will get some of the California-based people that they're coming off work right at the 6 o'clock hour, which means they're still at work for another couple hours and they have a hard time watching me at work. So we're going to try it, see if it generates us any more views or any more stuff like that. We'll try December most likely, and then we'll make a decision in January what we plan to do. But we appreciate you guys being here. Well, tonight we have a great show for you. But before we start, I want to talk to you really quick about our sponsor, which is me. We actually have our webinar, our masterclass coming up December the 1st. And the masterclass is a 4-week webinar style, 1 day, 1 night a week. We do a PowerPoint presentation of the drill of the week. You take it to the range, you shoot the target I give you, you turn it back in for me to evaluate it, and within 4 weeks, you have a full fundamental mastering of your handgun. This is limited to only 20 students. It starts December the 1st, 2025. You get 4 drills, 4 PowerPoint presentations, 4 live webinars, and then at the end you're going to get the feedback from me. All that for $89.99. Now it's the links down below. I'm so positive that you will increase your accuracy and get that aha moment you're looking for. I'm offering a money back guarantee. Not only that, guys, but what I do offer is if you book before December 1st, you get the 15-minute accuracy call with me for free, and you get the masterclass ebook for free, which that alone is a $75 value. So take the $75 off of the $89, and you're getting this thing. I'm almost paying you to take the class. So you want to look at the masterclass or want to sign up, it'd be in the links down below. Let's take that off. Okay, we're back. That's enough commercials for tonight. Now, I do always carry a little cheat sheet with me, guys, because during the week I get a little frantic and frazzled. I'm going to clean my glasses here real quick. Can't believe it's already half of November's gone. It's crazy how quick this year's gone. I guess that my dad used to tell me the years go by so fast, son. I never understood what he meant by that. But as I get older, I just hit my head on that microphone. As I get older, I realized that he was not wrong. He was not wrong at all. So tonight we're going to dive into the most overlooked part of pistol accuracy. And you have an idea what that is. It's not about trigger control. It's not about grip. It's not about stance. It's not about any of that stuff that we talk about day in and day out. It has to do with the mindset. Most shooters think accuracy is all about the grip and the stance and the trigger control and sight picture and sight alignment, but really it's built from the fundamentals. It's built from the mindset. It's built from having the ability to understand what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So tonight I'm going to give you 10 powerful mental clues that's going to work for the best shooters in the world or for new shooters. And it's going to give you something to calm you down, let you stay focused, and put the rounds. Hello, Phil. How you doing, buddy? Thank you. Say hello to Pat. Pat's new. He's from Buffalo, New York. Found us a couple weeks ago. Phil's one of our regulars. He's here all the time, and so is Pat Bomber. Rob Bomber's actually from Toledo, Ohio. Reason why I know that, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Toledo, Ohio, because my wife's from a little town called Montpelier, which is right around the corner from Toledo, Ohio. Kind of cool. Hey, D. Marshall, what's going on? Have you ever been, Rob Bomber? Have you ever been to Montpelier before? Montpelier, that's the name of it. It's a little small town out of Toledo. Hey, now there we go. Hello, D. Marshall. Welcome. There we go. I knew you were from there, buddy, because I've been to Toledo before. One of my most memorable points about that, these jackass, my father-in-law talked me to taking my shirt off on the golf course and go golfing with no shirt on. So I got burnt. I got wind burnt, which I never had been wind burnt. I'm born and raised in Florida. I've been sunburned plenty of times, but I've never been wind burned. And that wind burn was nasty. It was terrible. I never heard of such a thing, but it was kind of fun. What's cool about those golf courses is all you do is kick the ball off of the tee, and it rolls 100 yards because they're all hill. We played at a thing called Hillcrest. Yes, I did service work for Banner Mattress in the day. Very cool, man. Very cool. Small world, isn't it? Very small world. So today we're going to give you these tips that will help you feel more confident when you go up to the range, you get the tighter groups instantly because now you have that mental cue for better accuracy. I think number one should be, if you want to put this in your brain and kind of work it as best you can, is front sight, front sight, front sight. If you focus on your front sight more than now, it is official. I think I've told you multiple times. I used to talk to people about the 6 o'clock hold and work all that stuff in. It was very challenging. Sometimes the students got it, sometimes the student didn't get it. But after about 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks now of me giving brand new students at front sight focus, how much difference it made in that first 5 magazines to get them accurate with a pistol. And if you got anybody with any kind of experience shooting front sight focus, how quickly it stays with you and it becomes an easier part of your accuracy system. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's an easy thing for us to do real quick to kind of show you is all you really need to do instead of focusing on your target, you need to focus on your front sight. Now, I did a long form video. It's about 40,000 views right now, and that has to do with front sight focus. But basically, it's pretty simple. Take your finger, put it out in something, whatever it is. I'll use the camera, for instance. The camera, I got it there, beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on my front fingernail, and the camera itself starts becoming a little blurry. That's called front sight focus. It makes it so much easier. Now, you can't just focus on your front sight without leveling the pistol, obviously, but leveling the pistol with front sight focus, it makes a big difference. Keeps your brain locked in only what matters. It matters when the shot breaks. Think about that. We try to keep a pistol level the whole time we're doing it, but sometimes we get into a situation where we get kind of excited and we get a front dip post. That front thing dips a little bit, or we get excited and pull the trigger instead of press the trigger. So those are the kind of things that will help us tremendously when we start working these mindsets, right? Because a lot of people internally get excited when they want to cut the trigger. So number one is focus on your front sight. Front sight, front sight, front sight. These are mental cues that you can actually say underneath your breath, not breast. Where's my mind tonight? Underneath your breath. That will help you work on these routines. That's the one thing about accuracy. Accuracy is about consistency, and consistency makes you accurate, if that makes sense. Number 2 is press, don't punch. Press that trigger. Press, press, press. Yeah, Rob, front sight, when you're having a red dot on a pistol, the only thing I can give you on that, Rob, is a lot of people can't see their front sight because of the optic, but you want to make sure you're using the optic properly. A lot of people take a red dot and use the dot itself as an aiming device. Your 2 eyeballs are the aiming device. That's why you have to shoot a red dot with both eyes open and let the dot float on the target. Remember, bullseyes, a red dot's not designed for crosshair bullseyes. It's designed for quick acquisition. And if you're focusing on your dot and not focusing on the target, there becomes our challenge. So what we want is we want to focus both eyes on the target and let the dot float. It's different than using your front sight on your pistol and then focusing on your front sight and the target becomes blurry. It's reverse with a red dot. So I hope you shoot with both eyes open, which you should be. And I hope that you are focusing on the target and not the dot itself. And a lot of people say, well, that's what I'm doing, but they're not really doing that. But You got to really, and that dot should be actually just sitting there in a what I would consider a figure eight, and just floating there while you're beginning to take that slack out of that trigger until it cuts. Although sights on a pistol are a convenience, having raised front sights would help you co-witness a little bit just in case. Kurt, what's up, buddy? Good evening. Thank you. Oh, good. Yeah, that's awesome. I knew you were going to get. They take care of everything. Really, they do. He had a firing pin issue on. He'd been dry firing so much he broke his pistol, which is good. Which is good that you're dry firing. Dad, do. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. 49.75. Never seen this before. You knew? If you knew, thank you very much. Let us know where you're from and where you watching from. Looks like YouTube. You're watching from YouTube. Thank you very much. Dad. 49.75. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but I appreciate you being here this evening. Let us know where you're from. We can say hello to you. Thank you, sir. Subscribed a month ago. Yeah, let us know where you're from. That's where we want to know. You know what I get the other day. I got, I think I got Africa. Someone from Africa said hello. I got Australia, Sweden, Brazil. It's kind of crazy. Alaska. I appreciate that. All right. So press the trigger, don't punch the trigger. That's kind of smooth. Trigger press solves almost all inaccuracy problems. Smooth trigger press solves almost all accuracy problems. Number 3 is grip the gun, not the trigger. A lot of people use the trigger as a holding device. That trigger is only to engage the trigger. It is not to do anything else but that. And too many people put pressure on the trigger, and that causes inconsistency in the weapon itself. So we need to be very careful that we use the grip of the gun. So when we talk about grip an awful lot, but we want to use our chest muscles, gentlemen, to drive the weapon forward. And last week, I think I explained to you that if you have the orange in the center and you want to squeeze the orange between your two hands, that makes your pecs engage. And that's how we control the weapon. We have our non-dominant hand with 4 fingers and our dominant hand with 3 fingers. These are the things holding onto the pistol front and side, and then our back and forward with our chest muscles to give us that 360 grip we're looking for. With that 360 grip, we're going to be able to grip the pistol properly and not use the trigger, our trigger finger, as a gripping device. When you think of it this way, you're teaching yourself to apply pressure with the hands, not yank it with the fingers. And I think that helps out tremendously, because a lot of people get carried away with anticipation. And if we're not controlling the weapon properly, you get a lot of the highs and lows, rights and left of the trigger, because the bullet's going to only impact where you press the trigger to. And this is very common. So when you're at the range and you're shooting lower than what you're aiming, you're doing some kind of trigger manipulation or pulling or jerking or doing something like that. Number 4 is pause before you press. And I think this helps us out tremendously because we get a lot of people that get to the range and start. Yeah, low and left, there's a lot of stuff to it, but to be honest with you, most of the stuff that is majority of it has to do with grip, it has to do with trigger control and sight alignment. And those 3 things alone. If you go right to my YouTube channel, there is a full why I shoot low and left playlist of stuff. But it's pretty simple effect. After doing front sight focus as long as I've been doing it, I really bring it down into visually seeing the sights. I mean, seeing your front post and slowly getting that trigger back without driving your finger into the gun too deep. That causes a lot of that low and left stuff that happens. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I have an ebook too, the low and left ebook. If you haven't got any of our ebooks, if you pick one of the ebooks down in the description down below and you haven't received a free one yet, go ahead and put free ebook in checkout and you get it for free. Grab that Why I Shoot Low and Left book. That really explains it, takes the science of it down to a focus point. I still think you should watch the unbelievable grip thing, because that one there is really tightens up the grips. Really, when you start front sight focusing, you're really going to get your grips really tight. Yes, so that I'm just not giving you a free book. That's always something we do. Anybody's never got one of our free books at checkout, but our books are only $2.99. So you want to support us in any way you want to, that's a good way to do it, by buying those ebooks. There's one about grip, and there's one about stance, there's one about trigger control, there's one about sight picture, sight alignment. They are all there. The fundamentals are all there, and the science of why I think they're important are there as well. And they're easy. There's 50 pages, 60 pages long. Cool thing is most of the ebooks, there's videos on my YouTube channel or a playlist on my YouTube channel that correlates those books. Because a lot of people could read it and get it. I'm not one of those guys. I have to read it. I have to do it. I have to see it. So that's why I love the YouTube as much as I do, because one, it lets me touch people all over the United States and just not in my local area. It allows me to do what I love and teach students. It allows me to give you products and services that you want to support me with. And it allows me to do these lives and all the stuff we do. We're just getting busier and busier in our YouTube channel. Where, when you start making the money, now I'm not bragging or anything else like that, but the ad money is $300 to $500 a month, and then our ebooks are another $70 to $80 a month. Now it's nothing to sneeze at. Now it used to be $100 here, $100 there. I was happy. I don't care about the money anyways, because I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm just doing it to educate, motivate, and entertain. And I have a platform, and I'm very fortunate. There's 43,700 viewers that have subscribed to my channel, which pretty humbling if you really think about it. The small guy in Cape Coral, Florida, is touching people all over the world with my firearms training. It makes me happy once in a while to think I could do that, because us firearms instructors, we don't do it for the money. We do it for the passion. And the passion is what we do. John Diamond, welcome. Appreciate you very much. It does. John Diamond, low and left takes practice. Yeah, it does. But once you get it, you get it. And don't expect you never to shoot low and left again, because I do it all the time. But I can tell you, I was a low and lefter continuously, and I have to really focus and force myself to get over the gun. And when I started doing that front sight focus, it really changed the game. Where it really affects most people is by half. I'm right-handed and right-eye dominant. It's all on the right side, if that makes sense. But when you're right-handed and left-eye dominant, it becomes a little bit more challenging. Or right-handed or left-handed and then right-eye challenged. I mean, that becomes something else too. So number 4, we pause before you press. Take a quick micro reset and a mindset to help eliminate anticipation. So I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about doing the press drill. And the press drill really is just words. But how we work it out, and I think I did a whiteboard lesson on this, is all I want you to do is put the weapon out in front of you, get a good grip, get a good sight picture, good everything that you can do, and then begin to apply pressure to the trigger with a cadence of the word press, Press. Now, if you bring that back slow enough into your gun without putting your full finger in the weapon and kind of use the tip of your finger to engage the trigger, you're going to keep that weapon level as you bring it through. And the more you do this, the more you start understanding trigger travel. And trigger travel is one of those things is touch the trigger and it goes bang. We need to know where we are in this trigger travel, because you can actually take some of the slack out of the trigger, get to a certain point, focus on your front post to make sure it's exactly where it needs to be consistently, and then finalize the shot. Let the weapon come forward to reset and cut the shot a second time. But if you take that pause before you press, you're just slowing down the whole monster that's inside of us that wants to just jerk the shit out of that trigger and cause you more problems for yourself, which you don't want. So that real microsecond of quick reset in your mind, it will help you eliminate the anticipation. What? Hey, man, thank you very much for that. That was awesome, man. Thank you. Dude, that just gave me a star there. Thank you very much. I don't know what you call those things, but $1.99. I thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. You're awesome, dude. Welcome to the thing. All right, so see the shakes? People tend to think that I need to hold this gun completely still to shoot accurately. You don't. You don't. Kurt, the dime drill works well. I started with a quarter. Yeah, quarter's a little heavier. I don't know if you ever saw why you might have watched that video with the brass. Try it with the brass round. If you got a gun, try it. That brass is hard. It's not as easy as it looks there. And you talk about feeling the shakes. I'm 58 years old and I shake all the time. I'm never going to hold that gun completely still. But a lot of people tend to try to hold the gun completely still while they're trying to press the trigger. So just remember, we are going to move. Our heart rate makes the gun move. You know, it's cool. People always ask me, they say, hey, John, I want to get a laser for my gun. A laser. Laser. Mike Myers. I love that. Austin Power stuff. But anyways, you want to see the shakes really in a laser. That's the one thing I think people are, hey, what do you think about putting a laser on my gun? And I think it's great. I think it's great for the ability for cats. I don't really think it's going to make you more accurate. You can, but you're going to be able to see how much manipulation or just shaking you're going to do when you have a weapon in your hand. I think that helps out tremendously. I think if you dry fire with a laser, you can actually see the late 59, 58. Yeah. Well, I got three buddies of mine. We've known each other for we had all kids in high school, and my buddy Scott and Mark and myself. We're all 58, and we all turned 58 this year. Scott turned it first, and then Mark, and then me. And I always call them the old F's, the old F's. But both of them have children, and both of them have grandchildren. I don't have any I have children, but I don't have grandchildren. So they always say I'm the same age as them. And I go, no, I'm not. I'm not as old as you guys. I, I'm not as old as you at first. I don't have grandchildren, and Scott's actually got great grandchildren. So he's old. He had his one daughter had babies at a very young age. But at the idea of it, it's just point of it. So I always joke a kid that I'm still the baby in the group, and we're 4 months apart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, that's my base. So, don't worry about shaking. Don't worry about moving. Don't worry about trying to keep the gun completely still. Just take your time. What tends to happen most shooters, it prevents shooters from chasing a perfectly still sight picture and freezing. You cannot hold the gun completely still. Don't even think about it. It ain't going to matter. All right. I turned 67 on the 4th of November, and I know what you were talking about. Very good. I've got a laser on my M&P 2.0, but it doesn't make me not that pistol, obviously, because it's a very challenging pistol to that's a tough trigger pull too. So it's not the easiest thing at all. People think if I put the laser on your chest, you're going to see it and run away. You have to tell them that's on their chest because they would never see it. The problem with red lasers in daylight use, you're never going to see anyways. I think it's a make feel thing. People feel better when it's there. They think it's going to make them more accurate. They don't have to learn to shoot. You got to learn to shoot. That's the one thing you have to do. If you don't learn to shoot, you're going to have a problem with any pistol. I think even red dots, obviously, I mean, that's kind of, you can have that red dot on. I've proved it many, many times before. People come in the range and go, this red dot is off. Can you adjust it for me? And I go, well, let me check it out first and let me see it. And I go back there and I put them all in the dot. So when they come from the factory, guys, when it's on a laser for Hollywood, that's true. They look cool in Hollywood when you got that movie and they're all on the guy's chest. That's a pretty cool feature. But you notice they're always in dark rooms and fog and all that stuff. So it makes a big difference. Yeah, so when I go back and I shoot them and they're all there, and I go, let's see what you're doing. And I watch them jerk, pull, squeeze, anticipate, wrap, do everything else like that. Well, it doesn't matter if you're pulling the trigger, you're pulling the bullet. So it doesn't. You need to take your time and press. No, I can tell you the Glock's trigger. There's two things that happen to a Glock. Number one is they change the sight system, that box and dot system. It's elementary, but it's challenging. And number two, they always change the trigger out because the trigger itself has a very the stock trigger is 5.5 pounds, which doesn't seem like much, but it's a very loading trigger. So as you pull the trigger through, it's just getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And if you're not educated on the trigger manipulation part, when you engage a trigger, you're dipping your wrist or you're doing something else. there are a lot of triggers on the market today but the Glock is not what I would consider even that performance trigger has it's not all that what it would be, if that makes sense. Oh, I didn't know if you saw this today. Glock discontinued the 19, the 20, discontinued all their products to get out to the V because the old Glocks, 19, the bigger ones, the double stack ones, all could take what was considered the switch, right? And if you know what the switch is, it makes the gun full auto or whatever you want to say, which I don't understand why you want to do that, but let's just say it. Well, today on YouTube, oh no, today on Facebook, which they've already got the Gen 5, which is called they call it the Glock V, which is Gen 5. In the Gen 5, somebody's already made a switch for it. Someone's already made, so Glock went out and did all that stuff. Now Glock didn't make them, but I guess Glock was trying to get out from underneath this whole them making a gun that could take a switch with ease. Now the new Gen 5s can take it too. So, I mean, it just seems silly to me to go through all that stuff. They were trying to probably prevent some kind of legislation against them. And they most likely are going to get all the Glock's getting the contracts from the United States government. So they probably had to do it for that purpose as well, in my opinion. So number 6 is surprise break every time. And this is challenging for most students because they don't understand that you can't bring that trigger back fast and shoot accurate. In other words, when you catch somebody in the range, they've got 15-round magazine in the gun, and they're shooting 3 rounds every second and a half, and they're trying to figure out why their bullets are all over the place. It's because they're not doing a surprise break at all. They're not taking their time. They're not visually seeing anything. They're just pulling the trigger. So we need to remind the shooters to slow down and let the shot break smoothly, but don't force it. Now, you can learn to shoot fast and accurate, but you got to get the smooth down first to get the travel down. And this is something that most people tend to get a little carried away with, especially when they have a magazine full of bullets, because you don't really have a stopping point. Where when you stick to 5 rounds at a time that we've discussed multiple times, when we shoot 5 at a time, we actually need to be accurate with every round. And that's the consistency part of accuracy. Is I have 5 rounds in the gun, and I want to make sure those 5 shots go exactly where I'm aiming. And the more we do that, and the quicker we get to that, the easier it becomes for us each time. I think what tends to happen is when you have 15 rounds, you're just along for the ride after the 5th round. And most of the time, 3, huh? That can do it too. Well, you know what the deal is? The average right now is 28 cents a round. Okay? So if you have a membership at a range and you want to get the most out of 50 rounds, you have 50 shots. If we're loading a full magazine up, and it's 15-round magazine, how quick can you go through 50 rounds? But if you did like a 1-shot drill, 2-shot drills, maybe 3-shot, 4-shot, or 5-shot, I mean, it makes a big difference on what you're doing. Pick 2 or 3 go to my YouTube channel, go to drills you need to know, pick 2 or 3 or 4 of those drills, most of those drills have a downloadable PDF that you can download the target, take it to the range, and put yourself together a system that you get the most out of the 50 rounds. Because, I mean, in my opinion, after 50, you're 50, be honest with you, using golf terms, right? Your 50 rounds is your 18 holes. If you got a free 18, you went into the clubhouse and the guy said, "Here we go. Congratulations. You're our number 12th winner today, and you get another 18, but you got to do it right now." Now, if you don't shoot better than you shot your first 18, you got to pay. But if you shoot worst, right, then you're okay. Well, no one's going to shoot better than they shot the first 18 because you're going to be fatigued. You're going to be tired. Yeah, so that's kind of what you kind of get the idea of. Shoot 100, shoot 200, shoot 300. After that, what are you doing? You're most likely the first 50 of that 300 were good. All the rest of them, you're just picking up bad habits. And those affect our accuracy an awful lot more than the good ones. Yeah, well, you got to understand that there's a lot of computer science in that stuff in the Olympics, man. They've got all the equipment and the software and all the stuff they have there. Real challenge for most people, which they don't realize, that your mind and your trigger finger, your mind's pulling the trigger way before your finger does. And that's the one thing we got to get: mind and trigger finger sync. Because the challenge of having a mind that wants to engage a trigger, but the trigger finger's behind it, it causes a lot of issues for us. So surprise break every time. If I can give you one suggestion on that, is just shoot blindfolded. Close your eyes. Now make sure you're in the range. Make sure you're comfortable doing it. Don't worry about targets, but get the trigger back as slow as you can. Just bring it back. Bring it up in front of you. Just focus on it and just bring that trigger back nice and slow. Don't worry about your sight system. Don't worry about anything. Just make sure the gun is level. Cut the shot. Cut the shot. You'll be surprised how well you do and how tight the group is. Because all you really need to focus on, guys, is the back side of the firearm. Not the sights, the back side of where the above the sights, just below it, where the back of the barrel would come into the gun. Just focus on that, then close your eyes and bring that shot back nice and slow, and do 2, maybe 3 shots, then open your eyes up and see. You'll be very surprised that those 3 shots will be pretty close together, because all you're doing now is not really worried about anything else but engaging that trigger back in a nice slow cadence. It'll work that nice slow cadence each time, and then it starts making sense, and then start putting everything else together. I know it seems kind of crazy to talk about closing your eyes at the range, but we need to get that mind trigger melt down to something we can understand. So when your mind says begin to engage the trigger, your finger engages the trigger. Not making that hole, it's not traveling down to engage the trigger. It needs to do it automatically. And that becomes a thing that we have to work on continuously by practicing an awful lot. Number 7 is follow through. Don't relax early. And this is very common for students to shoot 1, shoot 2, shoot 3, shoot 4, shoot 5, and then look. And they didn't give themselves time. They didn't anything. All they did was shoot the shots. Or how about you ever seen shoot and look? Bang. Bang. And then just keep looking. Like you're resetting yourself each time. How accurate are you going to be if you keep resetting everything you do? Reason why people do that, reason why people drop their arms to look at their shots, because they're not consistent. They're not comfortable. They're not doing what's supposed to be done to be accurate with a pistol. If you have proper grip and proper stance and proper trigger control, and you bring it back to trigger in a nice, smooth, how are you going to miss? You're not going to miss. The problem is one of those things you're not doing. Two of those things you're not doing. And that becomes very, very frustrating for you, especially when you can do it one day and can't do it the next, or one mag and can't do the next mag. And the next mag, you can't do the next mag. So it's all over the place. If you're all over the place, you need to start from scratch, start with each little thing. That's why I tell students all the time, what are we doing today? What are you going back there to do? Most of my members, they always have a drill or two that I've already given them, or they come up and they ask, what should we work on today? Well, if you're coming to the range and asking me that, you shouldn't be here to begin with. You should already have a plan set up in your system of what you need to do. What are you going to work on today? Are you going to work on trigger press today? Well, that's good. If you're going to work on sight alignment, well, that's good. If you're going to work on front sight focus, that's good. We just can't do 5 things at one time. It's not going to work. We're not going to be consistent on anything because we're doing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And I think that's what people do is they fall back, pull forward, fall back, pull forward, because they're not really concentrating on one thing at a time. And this is one of those things that we have to kind of put it all together, put the system together, whichever system works for you to make you more accurate. That's why the masterclass is so important, because it builds a repeatable, measurable, confident building program to give you those moments that you go, I've been listening, but I haven't been hearing. I've been watching, but I haven't been seeing. Right? Yeah. Next time, Rob says, I want a dime-sized hole after 50 rounds. All right. Well, you know what? That could be achievable. But here we go, Rob. I'm picking on you now, buddy. Do you need that? I know you want that, but in a defensive shooting situation, is that necessary? So we're putting too much, and I know you're kidding, Rob, but we're putting too much emphasis on bullseyes versus defensive accuracy. And if I put the paper plate out, Mr. Bomber and Rob, and I put it out at any distance and you can hit it, and not at the bottom of the paper plate, in the center of the paper plate, that is a victory, my friend. That's somebody that has confidence to hit the paper plate no matter where I put it. And this is the consistency we're looking for. You want 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, those 4 inches there. And closer you are, the shorter the distance, the smaller the circle should be. The further the distance, the bigger the circle could be. How big of a circle can we get to? 8-inch paper plate. From an 8-inch paper plate to a 3-inch orange circle. Those are our target bases. And that's what I want you to work on, because that's our consistency. I don't think, I know pretty much that without me getting really excited, I would not miss any of those at the distances when someone puts it. Yep. Well, there is a statement Rob's making here. I'm good at defensive, but I still want to split a pencil. The tighter we shoot, the more easier it is to shoot at bigger distances. Yep, I agree. I agree. And those are things that work for people, man. And, I just don't want you to think you need that accuracy while you're a vet. So, you don't need that accuracy to win. You need that accuracy. You want to split a pencil, you want to do all that fun stuff. That's great. That just gives you more time and it challenges you. Because I've told many of you, when's the last time you went to the range and was challenged? Most people don't challenge themselves at the range enough, right? If you really suck at shooting, everything's a challenge. Does that make sense? But if you really go into the range to become consistent accuracy, consistent shooting, you should be challenged. Range time should not be a walk in the park. Range time should be somewhat challenging. But at the end, when you leave, I want you to bring that target in. If you got to put the gun out and just touch the paper to hit the bullseye, do it. I want you to leave on a good note. Don't leave on a bad note. And this is the problem with most people who finalize or shoot or do it. They don't really evaluate how was my shooting today? What did I do right? And what did I do wrong? And the more we can sit back and look at that stuff and go, okay, I kind of realized that I was pulling the trigger here. Or look at this, because one of the cool things I give in the master class is I want you to bring markers with you. If you don't have markers in your bag, in your range bag, you need to get them. You need a red marker, a green marker, a blue marker, a black marker, a brown marker. I don't care, at least 5 different markers. So if we're going to run 25 round drill, first string, we call it, the first 5 shots, mark that one color. And then your second string, mark that a different color. And you'll start seeing a pattern. Maybe you are a rush the first shot and all the rest of them are good. In other words, the first shot's always off or it's weird or something's going on, but 2, 3, 4, and 5 are right where they need to be. Well, what do we got to do there? Well, we got to slow down. We're getting excited and janging the crap out of that trigger on the first shot. Okay, well, then that helps us out. And the markers are telling us this because every one of the ones we just did with all the 4 colors, we always mark first shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot. Then we are able to tell, right? So that kind of gives us a tell, and we go, okay, now, all right, now let's think about this. Let's slow down. Or let's say, for instance, we get that last shot's always bad. Well, that's fatigue. Maybe we're putting too much pressure on the gun. Maybe we're causing some anticipation. Maybe we're jerking the trigger a little bit more. Maybe we're getting a little fatigued or tired. Maybe we're speeding through the shots. So those markers help us tremendously understand what we're doing wrong. I think that's the most valuable thing I can give a student. The valuable thing I give a student is giving them the ability to say, hey, listen, pay attention to this because this is what you're doing wrong. And once you identify what you're doing wrong, once you realize what a bad shot feels like, you go, oh, because that's what I do all day. Hey, do you feel that? Did that feel different to you? It looked different to me. And I'm videotaping these students. They don't realize they've got the gun high. They don't realize they're looking at the front post and not anything else. They're not leveling out the pistol. Or they're engaging the trigger really hard and the front post is dipping. If that front post dips, where's the bullet going to go? Dip, dip, dip. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting it to be different. That's not going to happen. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. You can have shitty trigger pull and it be all in the same hole, but it's just low and left. Most students who shoot low and left have got pretty damn tight groups low and left. We just got to adjust it. You don't want to shoot low and left. You don't want to do a Kentucky windage. I shoot low and left, so I'm going to aim high and right, and then bang, 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 it's going to be there. That's not the way you want to learn to shoot a pistol. Because the moment you do that, and the first time you get in a situation where you go high and right to hit a shoot bullseye, and you don't do the bad trigger pull, and all of a sudden that bullet's scaling off somewhere and hitting some innocent bystander, that's not what we want either. These guns are not inaccurate. We are inaccurate. 99.9% of firearms come from the factory sight on. No adjustment needed. We don't need to adjust the sight. We need to adjust you. That's the key thing. Okay. All right. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. This is a good one. Take your time. Go slow. And the more we go slow, the system starts working. Then we can pick up our speed a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. We always try to get to that speed versus accuracy thing. We need to be right there, right there. I'm not a motorcycle rider, but a lot of people tell me about the motorcycles, the old two-strokes. There was that band, that power band area there. Just right out of the control, but barely in control kind of deal. Those guys that ride those motorcycles, and they're just right there in the dirt bikes. That's what we're looking for. Now we're looking for the same thing. We're going to be right at that edge of out of control, but in control, right? Back in the old days, riding those dirt roads and the old cars, right? The trucks. We're just at that, goosing it just a little bit, riding the dirt, kind of fun, just right out of control. That's what we're looking for. And then once we get to that point, it becomes so much easier for us. Then we're running that gun right on the edge and around the edge of accuracy. And then once we start getting that, then you start getting those feels. Then it starts working for you. Then all of a sudden you go, oh, I finally got it. I finally here. I'm here. I'm at this point where things are starting to really, really come through. And then you just continue it. Continue your education. Continue shooting. Number 9 is drive the gun. Don't let the gun drive you. I told you many times the firearm is a bully. A firearm, race horses and race cars want to be ran. They do not want to be timid. You cannot be timid with a firearm. You can't be afraid of a firearm. You can't under control a firearm because you'll be all over the place. Same thing with a race car or race horse. They want to be ran. And that's the one thing that if you start doing some stupid stuff with a firearm, that's where the jamming. People go, well, semi-automatic pistol jams. That's why I shoot a revolver. They don't jam. People jam. People jam semi-automatic pistols. Hardly ever does a semi-automatic pistol jam. Unless somebody's doing something, slowing down the slide, or you got some bad ammo or something like that. Hardly ever does it happen. There we go, Rod Bomber. Yeah, riding motorbikes in Arizona. Yeah, those cactuses in Arizona, I'm hitting one of them damn things. Especially those big ones. They look like trees, for God's sakes. So smooth is slow is smooth is fast. Reinforce the technique versus speed. Get the technique down, take your time, get the system down, and then start building that speed a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. Just at the edge, right? We run the gun, that they're all where they need to be. If they're out of that, slow it down just a little bit. Drive the gun, don't let the gun drive you. This keeps a mental focus on the gun, and it helps with recoil management and follow-up shots, especially with the second and third shots. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good, Kurt. That's good, buddy. When I go to the range, I call my shots. I indicate that my fundamentals are on point. A golf ball to a quarter squeeze, trigger, basketball, pull the trigger. There we go. That's a good little system. That is a good little system. Makes all the difference in the world. Build it, they will come. That's what I always say. Get the system down that you can repeat and be confident with. And number 10, it's one perfect shot at a time. It has nothing to do with stringing rounds together. It's getting that one perfect trigger, press, sight alignment, sight picture. Put it all together. Put it all in the basket and cut that one shot. I can tell you a lot of people point the weapon at a location on a piece of paper and hit below where they're aiming. And I challenge you this week, each and every one of you, get to the range, put a white piece of, take the target, flip it around, use white side towards you, put it out at a distance you think you can handle, and then slowly put the weapon out in front of you and press the trigger where you have no target now, right? There's no target on a white piece of paper. All you're doing is aiming at a spot on the piece of paper. Now, I'm going to ask you to be honest next week. When you point that weapon at the white piece of paper and cut the shot, did it impact where you were aiming, or did it hit below where you were aiming? And this is a real eye-opening experience for people, because most people think that the barrel and the target are lined up together, and they are not. The barrel's below the barrel's below the sight system, and we're manipulating the bullet to go to a different area. You could either do that drill, or you could do the white paper with the black line drill. The line drill is a good drill because that really educates you, especially a horizontal line in your line of sight. And press that trigger through that line of sight. You should impact the line or hit above the line. If you're hitting below the line, then you're manipulating the firearm as well. That's a great drill. That educates a lot of people on I'm doing something to manipulate the pistol. You may not be doing anything to manipulate the pistol besides dumping your head to the gun, or you have the gun here and you got your eye over top of the weapon looking over the pistol, which could cause a low shot as well. And then low and left is working in the grip and stance and getting the eye over the weapon and all that stuff. My piece of crap Ruger 10 jams a lot. Is it jamming, or is it not? Is it missing shots? Like it's like you click it, but it doesn't fire, or is it misfeeding? Because I could tell you that if you're not cleaning that 22 almost every time you shoot it, it's such a dirty round that it gets dirty real fast, and that causes a lot of that stuff. And because the 22 spring in the magazine can get loose very quickly, you could run into problems there too with that 22. And then, obviously high velocity rounds are a must in those 22s. It's the gun might be the problem. I kissed a cactus. Not fun. 16-year-old then. Yeah, I would not. We went deer hunting one time, and I took the camper, and Johnny was playing with a bunch of kids that were in there. and Johnny was playing hide and seek, and he fell on top of a cactus. So half the night I was pulling shit out of his ass, pulling those cactus things off his butt because he had it all over him, man. It was terrible. All right. So mental cues that I give you this evening are pretty easy to put together. A lot of this stuff is you already probably are doing on a regular basis. Most shooters never train the mind, though, and this is kind of important for us. They only train the mechanics, but they don't train the mind, the focus, the memory, the cues that are going to help you work through all these little mental. People always say, hey, what are you talking about? Shooting's not mental. What do you mean shooting's not mental? It's all mental, right? It's all the putting it all together. Anything that you want to be good at, you got to continuously build that foundation and work on that mind memory melt kind of deal. My wife is a bowler. She's had 1 300, excuse me. My son Johnny, my oldest, has 2 300s. He did his 300s back to back in a night. He did one on a Wednesday night, one on a Thursday night. My Jacob, he's a bowler. He averages about 270, but hates bowling. Johnny's had 800s. He's had 299s, a bunch of games. I cannot get a consistent 3 games in bowling. I don't bowl now. I bowl once a week because my wife likes it. That's what I do. When I was bowling twice a week, I got more consistent, but I just didn't have time, man. I was just too much, especially during the fall with everything going on. So during the summer I bowl, and during the fall I bowl. But I can't. I'll have a 150 game, I'll have a 170 game, and a 123. So it's all over the damn place. But it's because I don't do it consistently, and the release and all the stuff. So we learn very quickly, do everything exactly the same, you can expect the same results. And this includes good shit and bad. Can't expect to pull the trigger and be accurate. Can't expect to have a crappy stance and be accurate. Can't expect to, not have a good sight system, or, can't focus on this. Or people always ask, hey, should I wear my glasses? Well, you need to see, don't you? If you can't see, then that becomes a problem. Here's our problem. When we put a gun out in front of us, we have 30 inches there. And if your glasses can't help you, or you can't focus, or it's blurry, or any of that stuff like that, the dollar store has +2s, +3s, +4s. Go get a 3 or 4 of those and see if something gives you a better vision, especially for shooting. And, when you start hitting what you're aiming at, confidence begins to soar, guys. And then at that point in time, it makes you feel better, and you want to do it more, right? Why go to the range and waste ammo if you're not getting any better? This is what I don't understand. Firearms training is not expensive compared to shooting, a year and a half trying to figure it out yourself. When it's we do classes in 1 hour and fix a lot of people. We're not expensive at our shop. $140, $150 for a 1 hour private class is pretty cheap. We do couples at $225, and we give them the concealed carry paperwork for it as well. So but the idea of it is, imagine trying to figure all this stuff out and how many rounds of ammo you're going to shoot, and if not everything's where it needs to be, there becomes a problem. So, getting down to the wire here, spending time behind the gun and spending time getting comfortable and putting the system together is something you need to do. If you want to work with me for a month and you try to get the best of what you've got with that masterclass, it's in the link down below. It's starting December the 1st. We would love to have you at it. It's a Monday night webinar call that we work through the fundamentals. You actually go to the range. If you are local in our area and are watching this, anybody who books locally here, we don't charge you for range time when you come into our facility to do your homework. When you go to your local range, most of your local ranges you're not going to have to shoot more than 50 rounds. I don't want you to shoot more than 50 rounds. We're going to be adding dry fire and live fire lessons that you could do at the range. That's one thing I could give you if you want to get a little pro hack here. Give yourself as many live fires as you do dry fires. So in other words, if you're going a string of 15, that's three mags, 5 rounds apiece, make sure that you are doing at least 15 dry fires. Do 5 live fires after you've done 5 dry fires, and you'll find your accuracy will start to soar because you're starting to get good trigger presses, and the 5 dry fires and the 5 live fires are going to really help you tremendously understand that trigger travel to take the slack out to a certain point. Well, that's been an hour, guys, and that's our accuracy hour for the evening. We do these every Tuesday night, and we're going to put something accuracy-wise out for you each week that's going to correlate with the videos that we're putting together and some of the YouTube stuff we've done. I appreciate everybody who was on the call this evening on the podcast. I like to go up and say thank you to Rob Bomber. Thank you, sir. Pat Ray, thank you. Glad you're here for Buffalo. Phil, as always, buddy, thank you very much. D. Marshall, thank you. He took his CW renewal yesterday. Very good, C. Marshall. Rob's been to Montpelier. Kurt Richards, thank you. Dadu said he loves my videos. Subscribed like a month ago. Got a thank you there from Dad. Thank you very much for that $2.99. I appreciate that very much. That means an awful lot to me. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Kurt. And D. Marshall, thank you again. Well, guys, thank you very much for this evening. We appreciate you being here. We're going to be here every Tuesday night at, we may be moving it to 8 o'clock. I think I discussed that with you a while back. We get some of the people from California. Jim and Patty, thank you. Appreciate you always being here. God, thank you guys very much. So we're going to move this to 8 o'clock, I think, starting in December. We're going to try it and see how it works. I'm going to try to do more of the accuracy hour stuff. We appreciate you very much. Got 3 things for you. God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line defense. If you look down on your YouTube channel, if you're watching from YouTube, make sure that you have hit the bell icon, the like, and the subscribe button. There's a lot of people who watch our stuff that are not subscribed. It's not a standard thing people do nowadays. The industry standard is not to subscribe. I don't know why that is. I don't really care, but YouTube does. because they feel if you don't subscribe, then you don't like it. And if you don't like it, they're not, why am I sharing it with people if they don't share it? So, and help me out by racking that pistol, walking up to the subscribe button, go ahead and take aim, and go ahead and pull that trigger. Hit that bell icon, that like, and that subscribe button. And every time we upload a video just like this one, whether it be a podcast, whether it be one of our YouTube videos, whether it be a short, you will be the next to know. I love you guys very much. Thank you very much for always supporting my my dream. Good night, and God bless.